Hi guys, I'm Kyley.
I'm Kimberly.
We got this guy here.
Who's this?
I'm Dave.
Dave.
And we are Behavior Analysts React.
Okay, we are gonna do this. Watch this video. This guy's
Grow up to be
serious.
adults with autism. It's absolutely true. And I know there's so many people out there who are like, mind blow, right? But the truth is, kids with autism grow up to be adults with autism because autism is always, right? It's a permanent part of who they are. It's a human condition. It's how they were made. And there's nothing wrong with that. But as a society, it seems like we kind of feel like it magically disappears at 18 because services and supports can become scarce, if not impossible, to get after the age of 18. Sometimes 23, depending on where you live. So just keep that in mind. And let's raise awareness so that our adults living with autism can get the support and love and everything they need to live their best life.
This is so 100% true. Like he said it. You say it again. Say it louder.
Magical number 23. Now you don't need services anymore. Like
Autism's gone.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's stupid. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Adult services. We have all of these supports in place for littles. And obviously those supports in place for littles are to kind of create those behavioral patterns so it's easier later on.
And capturing brain plasticity. All that. Very
that
important.
big word.
Right.
Say it again.
Brain plasticity. That.
But even into your 20s, your brain's still forming. Like even for neurotypical young adults, they're still in formation at that time.
Especially males.
Regardless, they are
Right.
still capable of learning at any age. And if there are skill deficits, we still have the ability to help close those gaps and or help them access their environment better or their world or be a better, more productive adult.
Working, house, being a roommate. I mean, I've had
Independent
a
living,
vocational skills.
knowing your colors. That's great. How do you speak to a woman?
Yeah.
How do you speak to a man?
Yes. How do you make
work?
friends?
I think you're right on with the 23 is a magical number. It's no. Our services just might look different because their environment is different.
Right.
They're doing different things that a 3-year-old is not doing.
Right, and the focus is different. We're not trying to close developmental gaps. We're trying to teach life skills so that they can access as much of the built world as the rest of us.
2 years ago, we realized how much artistic expression.
Oh my gosh.
Love it.
I have thoughts on how he's holding his path.
Right.
I'm also here for it,
Yes.
kind of, just to preface.
To next video.
Oh, buddy.
Okay.
It was in pieces,
This
a
next
little bit of
one's-
the head, a little bit of the foot,
This next one's also him. Okay. So we're going to see the artist behind the photo.
Frog.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8.
That is so good.
6, 7, 8.
No
Beautiful.
way.
That is beautiful.
Massive effort, great detail.
I wanna
and I
know-
love the color representations.
The thing I was going to say about the hands, obviously we have OT, we have all that to try and teach the correct way to hold pens, but I also am kind of that's his joy.
It looks
Yeah.
fun for him.
Yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
joy.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and if I was programming and working with someone like this, I feel like I wouldn't be working on pencil grip
No,
because that might interfere with something that does this brings joy, this sparks joy for him. So that's great.
He was effectively drawing. It was functional for him. I would not work on it myself at all in any way.
And you
especially
pointed
during
to,
art.
when we're programming, we have to be very specific about what we're targeting and when we're targeting it.
Exactly. I was recently talking to an OT who was saying that even kind of their philosophy is changing, that if they can do the fine motor skills functionally, that they're leaning less towards gripping, especially if they're using fingers. I think he was more fisted, and so they might still have worked on it there, but the entire field is leaning more towards does this work for you as an individual rather than does this look perfect for me as a professional?
Which
we should all.
Yeah, and this is a reminder, as BCBAs, we have to remember our scope as well.
Yeah.
And that's why we're checking in with OT and speech and doctors and all of these different things. It makes the program make sense. We don't need to push an OT agenda if there's no agenda to push.
I think it's awesome that it's pointed out, hey, just in case you didn't know, he is autistic, but also it's a little bit kind of sad that that's the direction we have to go with this, where it's not just posting a picture about this amazing artwork that this individual did, because it's amazing no matter who he is. I kind of like that it's got both aspects to it. So there's two feelings at the same time.
Yeah.
It's so true. Why do we have to put that stamp on it to be like, isn't this great because they have autism? It's like, no, it's great regardless of whether
amazing.
they do. Yeah.
Like, but also maybe the messaging is like, look how great this is. And my son has autism.
Yeah.
Like,
Putting
he's
him in a
very
box.
capable too.
Yeah,
Like,
stop putting them in a box. We're literally the ones that are like, here's the box.
Right.
Dave.
Yeah, no,
We-
I'm
Kimberly.
taking him out. Out.
Nice.
No box. Box is gone.
No box.
There's no box for you.
Kids can never do what they never have the opportunity to do.
The game is figure out what she's about to school us on. Lock it in.
I think inclusion.
You get
Something sad, something upset happening at school or something like that.
I'm gonna get that she's gonna do something kind of calling us out, but in a sarcastic way.
Okay.
So sometimes I see kids in their preschool settings as a speech therapist. What I'm going to tell you is going to piss you off, and if it doesn't, then you should probably not follow me. Hi, I'm Nicole Casey. I'm on a mission to bring joy to your autistic child's communication journey, but the shit's not joyful, so sorry. I go to two of my clients' preschools. Both are autistic, both are in typical school settings, and their experiences could not be any different from one another. I'll tell you the good one first. His school team goes above and beyond to connect with him. They learn all about his special interests. They make sure to include him. They give him the support and accommodations that he needs. Everybody in that school knows him and supports him, and guess what? He has tons of friends. The kids love him, and they seek him out.
Of course he does.
That shouldn't be...
Teachers set the tone.
That should literally be
That should be the normal.
basic standard.
Yes.
I don't understand.
But unfortunately, it's not.
Teachers signed up
when
to
I go
teach
the other
every
school,
child.
My autistic client is always so excited to see me. You know why? Because the people in his school have not taken a millisecond to learn about him, to learn how to interact with him. They treat him like an outsider.
Yep.
And you know what happens? The kids in the classroom follow suit. Kids at the preschool level and probably all levels will follow the lead of the adult.
Exactly that.
Both of these kids are amazing, intelligent, have tons of strengths. The only difference is in the way that the adults interact with them. And the impact of that is huge. Are you worth imitating?
Are you worth imitating?
Are you worth imitating? Shirt.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, like I kind of get a point for sarcasm.
Okay.
You get a point for melancholy. You get most of the points, though. It's fine.
I think we nailed the video. We nailed it. We all got it.
Are you worth imitating?
Yeah.
Are you worth
I can't stop saying it, honestly.
you need mind blown emojis all over that.
Are you modeling what you're wanting to see? Right? Like, are you modeling? Are you modeling? Are you modeling? But I like this.
Are you worth imitating?
Yeah.
So you probably have big opinions on this because, well, you both do. Because you guys are primarily in the school.
Yeah.
It is very hard for someone from the outside of a school to come into a school where really what you can change and what you can do is kind of just like your own self.
You're stepping into a culture. There's a school culture, there is a classroom culture, and those are set by the leadership at the school and the teacher in the classroom. You have limited ability to change things unless you're gonna step in and change culture.
But you two have been culture changers within the school, which has been wonderful.
Modeling in the classroom, modeling with the leadership for the districts, and it's having an effect. Stop othering people just in general. Inclusion is across the board, being inclusive, not just accepting, but celebrating. Like, we need to dig in deep on everyone and their value. But if we don't model that behavior for those kids, they're not gonna likely do it.
Like, kids learn from their teachers, shockingly, weirdly.
Also,
and when their teachers show them, I don't like that kid or that behavior, the kids learn that, and they learn how to respond to that child from that adult.
So it's highly likely that there's also a lot of challenges that come along with this student, right? But you've got to, as a professional, hold your face. You've got to hold your actions, stay professional in your reactions in front of those children. Like, afterward, you can talk about how challenging that kid was, but you cannot let it show in that environment with all of those kids and other professionals there looking to you for guidance. You're the teacher. You have to set the tone.
We also just need to make sure schools are supported with the tools that they need, because if there's a bandwidth issue, if they're stretched thin, if they don't have the capacity to take care of that kid, that's a problem.
This is where the majority of that investment should be going in.
It is,
This is where they should have those extra instructional aides, those extra support staff, because then hopefully they won't need them
later.
in kindergarten
yes.
first and second.
Yes, the earlier you can intervene, the bigger impact you can have on long-term outcomes. In schools, they need to also be vested there too, and like the entire team needs a support system in order to support the kids. If there's one teacher in that classroom and one student is taking up 50% of her attention, that of course is going to feel frustrating because she's a human being that signed up to teach whatever, 15 students.
Right.
That being said, you signed up to teach 15 students and you don't get to pick who those 15 students are.
Yes.
And so they all need to be accepted and met where they're at and supported the way they need to be supported.
100%. We have to invest in our littles. We have to continue seeing them through their growth, and we have to make sure there's opportunities for them when they're adults.
Exactly.
I'll bring it around. Put 10,000 points to each of you for tying it back together.
And here's the bow.
I'm super excited for this one. I see Prolo Quote, I see his AAC device, and I can tell he can't communicate what he wants, so I'm excited to see how he figures it out.
We're gonna tap into that. That's my guess for the video.
She wanted a cake pop, but doesn't have cake pop button. Ooh, I love when they problem solve in this way on AAC
Let's
devices.
see your problem solving, sir. Oh,
I
lollipop.
want lollipop.
Oh,
Afterward, he was so happy to have been able to make himself
Look at the face.
proud.
Good job, Charlie.
just
Good job.
Oh, buddy.
there's so much that goes.
I'm like covered in goosebumps. Yeah.
Could you? I mean, truly, just imagine for a day.
No.
None of us could talk.
No,
None
not
of us
even
could write.
none of us could talk. We could talk. We could do it, make sound. No one can, and we know what we want, and nobody
one
can
can
understand us.
Yeah.
It is so cumbersome to have to use an AAC device. Like, it is so many more steps.
Yeah.
There is so much more, like, muscle memory that has to go.
issues.
Yes, like, it can die.
But I love to see he's the one wearing it.
Yes.
That's exactly how it should be. And he's able to navigate it, put it all the way through, gets the entire sentence done, and then presents it to get what. It's amazing. It's so good to see.
I can tell it's also set up with core words, so you can get some muscle memory there.
Which is like challenging
really cool.
on its own, because sometimes if you don't have access to a lot of those fringe words, then you've got to try to put it together if you want to be specific.
Yep. Yeah.
Pure creativity.
Yeah.
Yes. But like, imagine. He has to be creative.
I know.
He only has the words we give him. That's awful.
I think about all of even like the pecs, all of these
Yes.
things where it's like we feel so limited to what we can put in the binder or put on the icons that are on Proloquo or whatever device we're talking about. We are sometimes, and it's not intentionally, but we have to limit sometimes what all they can have access to or what they can talk about.
But that doesn't ever mean we limit their vocabulary.
I know, and I'm just like
I mean, hopefully
impressed.
they're going towards some way of communicating that allows like free typing or something like that, or some other system that has a broader vocabulary within the folders. And he's well on track to be. I mean, just the fact that he kind of scrolled through all of his pictures to find something that made sense to ask for this.
Like, I just think about those parents and those kids, and I just like high fives to you guys, because honestly, the patience.
It's so
practice.
much work. It's so much work to have to learn to talk
And to have
non-verbally.
it charged. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
to have it not end up on the refrigerator.
I like
You
lose
thought,
it.
yes, there's-
Like,
yeah.
I get to
It's a lot to think about.
use my voice. Very rarely do I lose it.
What
Call it.
is she serving?
I
What
think
is she
she's serving us facts with a side of sarcasm. I know I said that before, but she has like.
You're really feeling this
Are
today.
you ready for this?
Are you
And if
ready?
I'm wrong, I'm totally wrong.
I'm gonna go for some sort of proud moment. She's really proud about something.
Yeah.
Ooh, teamer upper. Fine.
What
We've
if your
known
powers
each other for too
activate?
many years.
Form
Like-
of same comment.
Heartwarming story time. Hi, my name is Redacted, and I have a story you might want to share. I used to be an instructional assistant in a special Heartwarming story time. Hi, my name is Redacted, and I have a story you might want to share. I used to be an instructional assistant in a special needs class at an elementary school. My students were 3, 4, and 5 years old. All of them were in the same classrooms. Some came in the morning, some came in the afternoon, and some were full-day students. Most of the students in the class were nonverbal and would bite, hit, kick, scratch, claws in the eyes, and take off running. There was one day when me, along with the other instructional assistant, were bringing them back from PE, when one of the students took off running. I got stuck with taking the rest of the students, including the 2 students who were nonverbal, would bite, hit, kick, scratch, and claws in the eyeballs, back to the classroom. As I was walking them to the classroom, I tripped over the risers that were set up for a music program coming up and fell backwards. I was so terrified that the 2 students who were nonverbal would either take off running, hit, or bite one of the other students while I was trying to get up. Those 2 students saw me fall like the rest of the students did, and they were the only 2 students who ran over to me to make sure I was okay and gave me a hug. After I got back up, those 2 students also held my hands the rest of the walk to class. I went to the nurse to get some ice after I fell while the other instructional assistant and the teacher were getting the full day kids down for their nap. When I walked back into the classroom, those 2 students ran over to me again and helped me come into the classroom and gave me another hug. I started crying after they fell asleep because it made me realize that even though they are nonverbal, run off from us, hit, kick, scratch, bite, and claws in the eyeballs, they still knew that I cared about them. That is my story.
I am a
I have something in my eye. Thank you to this teacher for sharing your story. Thank you for all the good that you do in and out of the classroom. You're making an impact on your students, whether you feel like it or not. I know some days are harder than others. Again, thank you for sharing your story.
I love this. I love her highlighting, like, I didn't notice that they noticed me until they noticed me. Really highlighting the fact that just because they're nonverbal, just because they have behaviors, that doesn't mean that they don't notice that I care for them. That doesn't mean they don't care for me. Behaviors are communication.
One thing I do like is, like, she's not skirting around the behaviors that she's experiencing.
Yeah, they would claw our eyes out, I believe she said. Like,
I've definitely had
I've had a pinky in my lower eyelid. It's unpleasant.
We've left with bruises. But if you're signing up to be a clinician in the field of ABA, this is the job. So if you're not cut out for getting hit, for getting scratched, for getting bruises, for getting thrown around,
Yes.
I just maybe it's not for you. I don't know how else.
No.
That's part of our crisis.
Yes.
We are crisis intervention trainers at our company.
Not me.
And and part of the training is like, why did you sign up for a job that you might get hit, bitten, kicked, spit on? Like,
and for
why
Every
did you do
interview
this?
that I run, I double, triple check. You know what could happen, right?
Yes, I understand people get in the field to kind of feel it out and see if it's what they want. And sometimes people come to the conclusion, this ain't it.
Yeah.
That's great. But like, our clientele are our clientele.
Right.
And we've got to be there for them. We've got to be supports for them.
Our job
I need
is
this mindset.
Yes.
Like,
exactly.
her mindset is what I need.
Yeah.
Calling back to the staffing, it sounds like they had a lot of students for only 2 staff, and the fact that she was the only one available to
And
walk
they
back
elope?
these multiple
I was going to
staff
say,
also
one
elope.
kid elopes, now
It
you
just
have
sounds
one.
super unsafe.
Yeah.
So we really need to double, triple check on how
Yes.
many people we have staffing for students who could be getting themselves into dangerous situations, running off and things like that.
She's escorting 2 students who elope, 2 students who aggress towards other children. There should be maybe 2 adults escorting.
Yeah.
But bless her for being like, instead of being like, oh, woe is me, yet another day of getting a bruise, it's,
let's highlight the
are my kids,
amazing.
are my kids okay? And also, just because all of that happens doesn't mean that they hate me or that they're doing it to hurt me.
Don't personalize it.
That's,
Yes,
I see
that
that
one.
all
That
the
one.
time. It's like, it actually isn't about you. Like, it's kind of just, it's just not.
That's the
It's not
second
making
part
it about
of the PSA is it's not about you.
Like,
not about
it
you.
happened to you. It didn't happen because of you or toward you.
And if it is happening because of you, I have different questions, and it's not for the client that we're talking with.
Right.
I'm sorry. Again,
Might want to do something else.
You signed up for a job that literally changes the trajectory of a child's life and their family's life.
I'm not messing around.
That is really, really flippin' important. Treat it with the level of importance and the onus of responsibility that role requires.
Okay, my guess is just wholesome because honestly,
all of their videos are.
I need to win one first of all.
Wholesome is going to be right.
It's going to be wholesome.
Yeah.
100.
They're going down with me.
What do you want to tell everyone, Max?
The mustache for Jake.
The mustache for Jake what?
Shave it.
Shave it? What about Max growing a mustache? Are you down to grow a mustache or what are you thinking?
I'm down.
You're down to grow a mustache?
Yes.
Max grow a mustache. Jacob keep the mustache.
Yes.
Yeah?
Shave it.
shave it.
The mustache.
Why do you want to shave the mustache?
The longest hair. The longest hair.
The longest hair what?
On the mustache.
What about it?
Look at his face.
Jacob's mustache.
What about Jacob's mustache?
Kinda good.
It's kind of good?
Yeah.
What do you rate it 1 to 10?
10.
10? So you like the mustache and you don't like it?
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
So can I keep it now? Or are we going to keep
Keep it.
shaving it? Keep it or shave it?
Keep it.
Keep it for how long?
Forever.
Forever?
Whole journey.
We're back in on the mustache or we back out?
Back to the mustache.
What does it feel like?
What a journey.
Yeah, what does it feel like underneath my mustache? What is my...
Underneath the hair.
Underneath the hair is what?
Hairy mustache.
Hairy mustache?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
That's
I love how he always says better.
I love you, Max.
I love that. That's so cute.
I don't even know what to say because I'm just mushy inside.
Yeah, it was just wholesome. You were right.
Yeah, it's
Good
just
job.
wholesome.
Yeah, you went. High five. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Also, love that he just lets him explore and be like, what the heck is this?
Yes. Like it's weird. Your face changed. I'm upset.
Yeah, and I also really appreciate that they allowed us to join them on that.
Yeah.
At first, when he was really what his brother was saying, I was like, I'm not totally sure if he doesn't like it or if he's repeating it. And then as it shifted, I was like, oh no, he's really telling us how he feels about it. We've just gone.
Props to brother for
checking.
Doing correspondence checks, checking back in, just naturally kind of doing that sort of thing where there's so am I keeping it or am I losing it? And he revises how he asks
he puts
it.
the thing he said first to make sure he wasn't just echoing it. Yeah.
Pro tip, you should do that.
Yeah.
Wait, what should we do? We really should.
Come on, sir. Sure is a nice day for the park today.
Sarcastic man.
It sure is. Hey, listen, before you go in there with your child, I've seen you here a few times before, and I decided to create a plan for you. Huh? A plan? What kind of plan? I've noticed that you enjoy hanging out with your child. I noticed that you get on your cell phone occasionally. So the plan is you have to make sure that your cell phone stays in your pocket the whole time, and you have to walk up to 2 parents you don't know and initiate a conversation. Wait, what? That's ridiculous. Well, that's not the only thing in the plan, sir. You have to make sure that you sustain eye contact for at least 3 seconds per conversation exchange. You have to ask follow-up questions, and it can't be about a topic that you want to talk about. It has to be non-preferred. Something like Vanderpump Rules. Oh, dear God, not Vanderpump Rules. Don't you think that's going to give me more stress and more anxiety? And it's going to teach me that my way of communicating is not okay? Sir, I don't know if you're aware, but that kind of attitude is what leads to behavior intervention plans for non-compliance. Junior, let's get out of here. This guy's forcing me to make eye contact and chit-chat about Vanderpump Rules. I'm never coming back to this park.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm dead.
Or the video or Dave. I can't.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about contagious. I look over and both of you are body flinging yourself forward in laughter.
I feel like that just puts it in perspective in a really good way.
Yeah.
Here, so if you want this for them, then you should have to do it too.
Yeah.
Would you do this?
We're asking grown adults, kids, people to change things. How we go about doing that is very important. Otherwise, it's freaking weird.
Especially when we're doing parent training.
Yeah.
They did not sign up to be behavior analysts.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
I want that job. They chose to be an engineer or an esthetician or whatever they chose to be. And now they have to be a behavior analyst of sorts.
This guy does a great job of calling out things that sometimes we just kind of robotically do in the field, but then calling out how it can really actually be weird.
Yes. And so often we write goals that can make kids look weird if they met the goal. Kids do not walk up to each other and go hi, my name is Kimberly.
Nope.
May I play with you?
Yeah.
No, they go, oh, they're playing tag. And then they
And they
run.
just play.
They start
I'm
running.
Batman. You're Robin. Let's go.
Who are you?
It's
Teach
that's
them how to
as
do that.
formal as it gets. Even that is more formal. It's
I like him. He's fun.
Yeah.
He's dramatic. I like Dave's reaction to him.
He made me wheeze.
Maybe more.
I'm a fan.
I'm excited
Here's
for
the
this
biggest
one.
fan.
Shaden.
Oh.
The question for today is on potty training. Are you potty trained?
Yes, I use a toilet, but I'm not traditionally potty trained. Let me explain. You see, I can't always feel what I got to go. If you don't feel me, how do you know?
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I go to the bathroom on the schedule every couple hours or so. That that way, just in case if I don't feel it, I still go.
Smart.
The point is to not have accidents. It doesn't matter if you are trained or not. Am I potty trained in a traditional way? No, I have schedules that's helping me stop accidents.
Okay, thank you.
I think I got it.
Oh.
I think I got it.
Get it.
It's like,
Get
wait,
it.
I just noticed.
Yes.
Like, oh my, I love this for so many reasons.
My heart.
First of which is that he knows and understands it.
Yes.
Like, that he understands it's not typical, but it's totally fine.
No.
It works for me. The whole point is don't have an accident.
Yep. Yeah. Clearly, he's
I don't have
involved in the
accidents.
planning. He's involved in the he's been explained to him, and he sounds like he understands exactly what it is that's expected and why.
Yes.
The reason why things are the way that they are, and that it's okay.
Yes.
And that it's okay.
There's also just different ways to do stuff.
Yes.
His whole demeanor about it is like, I don't understand kind of what the problem is. I'm not traditionally trained,
Yeah,
but like I get it done.
Yeah, like I don't have accidents.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
And well done to the mom who's
Yes.
giving him the opportunity and the platform to like speak and meet people in different ways where they're at.
I love how honest they have been with him and how clearly non-judged he feels.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it is just so matter of fact, this works and it works for me, and that is what is important.
Yeah, sounds like he's really clear about his challenges and how he navigates them. He's clearly identifying the challenges and the solutions, right?
Without letting it bog him down.
Yeah.
It's his diagnosis,
Yeah.
and I think no matter what, if an individual has a diagnosis, they should be aware of the fact that they have a diagnosis at some point in their life.
Yeah.
It is a decision on when in your child's like life is the right time to like bring them in and include them in that conversation. But I think individuals should always know that they have a diagnosis at some point.
Agreed.
It's a fact of their life, and it's not a negative fact of their life. It is just a label for the way that their brain develops.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a bad thing, and it shouldn't be presented as a bad thing.
Old school had that thought of it's going to follow you forever,
It's
and
gonna
like it was a
stop
bad
you
thing.
from doing
Right.
things. It's
Whereas-
going to hinder you, hold you back.
Now we just know it's just a part of the spectrum of humanity and neurodiversity, and that there's so many different ways that people and the brain are. And so having a word that goes along with that way that your brain is, it's just an opportunity to say like, that's who I fit in with. Yeah.
We don't need to like be quiet about that topic. It is what it is. It's not a bad word.
When we
Part of you.
whisper about it,
That
it
makes
turns it
yeah.
into a bad thing. It turns it into a secret. Like, you are a redhead. Like,
I was gonna
you
say,
are
I'm a
autistic.
redhead.
Like,
Yeah.
it is just a label. It is a descriptor.
Yeah.
And it is not a judgment.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And Dave, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I had a great time.
Actually,
Thank you.
it was a true pleasure.
Yeah, it was.
Please smash that button, like, follow, subscribe, and if you have a video that you would like for us to react to, go ahead and send it to the email address you see here. Or maybe here, I'm not sure. You'll find it.